Last week we had a lot of pairs flag and almost no trade setup. This week is the opposite. We have few pairs flag, but we might have more trade setup. What's up, traders? Welcome back to this weekly Forex outlook once again. And I'm not sure I'll be able to finish all of this right here, right now, because I have to leave in a couple of minutes. If not, I'll finish this later on today. But I want to go through the pairs that I'll potentially trade for the week. And this past week I really made an effort to simplify stuff. And I had a bunch of lines in my chart. Simplified it to 2 or 3 lines per chart most of the time. And we'll see what we can trade, what makes sense, what is at some levels. And that's going to be it for today. So I'll start first with AUD CAD once again. Pair here where we had it set up on Friday, but I don't trade set up on Fridays. They're really not profitable at all. This chart has kind of a bunch of lines still, but in my opinion, those lines are valid. Like they kind of make sense. Okay, so that's why I leave them here. And if we're gonna break down over here, which I think we will do, of this level where we've bounced in the past, I think price is gonna reach 0.94 pretty soon, and that could be a place to look for buying opportunities. But I'll unflag the pair because we're below the zone now, and I don't see a need to trade it. But we'll see what happens with the pair afterward. AUD is also at a support area. This one didn't break down yet, so we're gonna wait for a setup on the forward chart and the 1 hour chart. We had nothing so far, but that's gonna be a good place to look for buying opportunities at 82. AUD is reaching, and we talked about this last week, I believe, reaching a resistance area at 1.12. Good place to look for bearish setup. That's the perfect place. And looks like price so far didn't do much. Pulled back a little bit below, but we're coming back above, and we can look for setup again on the lower time frame. That's a really cool zone because we've been reversing a few times in the past, over here, here, and here. That's gonna be pretty interesting. So I'll keep this one flagged and set an area. AUD pretty much like AUD CAD, breaking down of the place we thought price would reverse. Not a good sign, hence why I wouldn't flag it and probably not trade it for the coming week because it's not really conducive to buying trades. Like if we're gonna trade and there's a downtrend and we try to buy, it's rarely gonna happen that price is gonna push back up and make a big move. So not profitable. That's why we wait for price to be at a zone and trade there. Okay, so now price would maybe reach 0.70, okay, and that's the support, so we could look for buying opportunities there. Or the other possibility is that price might, and keep in mind this is like a weekly chart, this is a big time frame, but price might reverse over here like this, make a pullback, and then fall back down. Some people could trade that. I personally don't like to trade that too much, but if it happens, then it could be a good thing to trade in my opinion. CAD CHF between 2 zones, we're not going to trade that. Euro AUD is at this resistance area here at 1.57. Came back down the past week, didn't do much so far. I would wait personally for price to reach 1.51, 1.50, this area, because now it's kind of messy and we don't really know what to do with that, okay? For me on a weekly chart, that doesn't look too clear, and I would much rather see price go down and then look for another trade as opposed to kind of chasing what happens here. And that's a big difference between chasing and just waiting for price to reach your level. You can do both. You can either chase or you can wait. And in most cases, I found that chasing the market was more difficult and less profitable. So you might want to wait for your perfect setup to appear, and that will, in the end, be probably much better. Euro CAD is coming back to a level. This is pretty interesting. This is pretty much what I mean by simplifying the lines. So you only take the lines that are really clear and standing out. The other ones might make some move, but overall they're not going to be profitable, and they might not produce some great trades. So AUD CAD has a couple of levels that are really interesting to watch, and those are the one I keep. Okay, so 4 lines is fine for me on the chart. More than that, when you look at the daily chart, weekly chart and stuff, and all in between, it's a waste of time. But this is going to be a good place to look for bullish trade at 1.50, a round number. And we need to look closely at this one because it's like right at the level now, and that's just perfect. Euro GBP is kind of reaching here 0.91, a resistance area, and so far it didn't do any setup on any time frame, but we'll wait and keep this pair flag to look for bearish setups. EURPY didn't sync at all because there's way too many lines over here. So let me simplify this a little bit. Okay, so price is at a potential support area right now that didn't do much of a support for now, 128, and we'll look for setup again on lower time frame on this. Euro USD is still at the 1.14 area, didn't do much so far, of course, overall, and we'll look for bullish setup in this area, of course, because price reversed a few times in the past. It's been in a place where price traded for a long time before, and I'm still waiting for this. I had no trade setup the past week, and looks like price doesn't show a lot of bullish evidence so far, but we keep it flagged. GBP CAD is between two zones, not doing much so far, but I would prefer, and I had a zone here before, intermediate zone, but I would prefer price to come back to 1.60. I think the zone between was not as strong as I expected, so I'll wait for price to reach the lower area, 1.60, and look for trades over there. GBP CHF is now between two zones. This over here is like pretty much the same area. We'll just put a box, and we look for price to either push back over here at 1.20, 1.22, or maybe do like we talked about earlier, the kind of pullback, so price could move up over here and then come back down. It could be a good thing to look for. JPY is between two zones right now, okay? We'll wait for price to reach either 136 or 148, which it just broke from. And this pair, I don't like how it looks too much. It's kind of unclear a little bit, so I'm not gonna like be looking at it too much, but I just keep it for future reference. GBP is really kind of back and within a small range. This over here, 1.96, is a place I was looking for bearish signals, and so far we got nothing, but we'll wait for price if it reverses there or not. But nothing much to look at for now. GBP is breaking below this area, so it looks like the other area we'll look at is 1.20. Quite of a big difference, it's 1100 pip, but for now we'll just wait, and that's gonna be a good place to look for bullish setup on this pair. And the CAD right now is at a zone 0.87, and a good place to look for bullish setup. I'll keep this one flag, it's really important, and we'll wait for setup on lower time frame. USD finally reversed like we talked about the past week, but I believe we had no setup. At least I didn't take any trade on that. We see a little bit closer. No setup over here, and no setup over here either. So not much happening, but this was a good place to look for bullish setup. Nothing happened. Now the other zones we'll look at is on the other side at 1.35, where we've been in the past. This is kind of a long time ago. This is back 2017 in something like May and June, but now price is gonna probably get there, and we can look for bearish setup, so reversal setup at this zone, and that's gonna be it for USD CAD. But we're gonna flag it now. It's not pretty much dead for now. Oh my god, the line that I removed like really didn't sync, and that's something you have to be careful with when you sync line on TradingView. They don't always sync perfectly. Happens that it kind of fucks up and stuff, but anyway, we'll deal with it. USDJPY is at a potential support area over here, 111, and we didn't have any setup so far, I believe, but we had this trade that I took, it got stopped out the past week, and that was it for this pair. But the cool thing now is that we're back at a support. We can look for more trades. It's really possible it will go back up and make another trade setup, so I'll keep this one flagged and I'll look at it daily. USD SJD is between two zones, so the other zone it might reach soon is here, 1.39 or 1.34. Two zones where we could look for two different types of trades, so long or short. And basically I'll look for reversal. You might trade something different, but since price is between two areas, I will wait, and I'm not going to trade that for sure, but that's a pair that's still close to a level, maybe to be reached in the outgoing few weeks. Now we have less pair this week that are flagged. I think I have 9, so not many pairs. It's going to be a slow week, but last week we had a lot of pairs flagged and almost no trade setup. This week is the opposite. We have few pairs flagged, but we might have more trade setup. Okay, it really depends. You cannot only rely on how many pairs to look at, because you might have many or no setups, and that's gonna be it for the review. Hope you guys like this. I'm gonna head to Granby today once again for the day and the next few days. But thanks for watching this, guys. I appreciate it. Comment below with your thought as always below, and if I can do anything to help you out, any question you have, comment below as well. Click the subscribe button and click the bell next to it to be notified of future videos, because you don't want to be the guy who's going to be missing out on all the videos. That would be terrible and not cool. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Ciao.